don't do drugs because drugs are bad. Okay? Okay? You guys should all listen to Mr. Mackey. You know, he's got a point. All drugs are bad. Okay? But they're not bad for reasons you might think. And I'm, of course, just voicing my opinion here. Many mind-altering substances are useful in giving us clarity, connecting us with other realms, spiritual realms. Spirituality is simply things we can't see. The world of demons, the realm of demons and reptilians and all that, that's a spiritual realm. It just happens to be a fourth density negative realm. The angelic realm is a positive realm, a fourth, fifth, and sixth density positive realm. These are all spiritual realms. So mind-altering substances really good at doing these things, really good at waking us up to certain truths, certain cosmic wisdoms, connecting us with aliens, guides, spirit guides, etc. And I have tremendous respect for particularly psychedelics. In fact, I'm coming up on a psychedelic trip very soon. It's been a really some time since I've had a psychedelic experience. So I do respect psychedelics. Would not be the man I am today, the human that I am today, without my extensive experimentation with psychedelics particularly, but I have also experimented with things like MDMA, marijuana, of course, in my teenage years, alcohol briefly for maybe 2 years, and Adderall. That was an interesting phase with Adderall. So I have, of course, my fair share of experiments. I've also tried cocaine once, and I think it's the most overrated thing of all time. So anyway, I do have an extensive experience with mind-altering substances, and some of these mind-altering substances are extremely helpful for us humans on our journey on this planet in these very interesting times. So why do I say they're all bad? They're not all bad for like, oh, don't do them because, you know, you're gonna go crazy. It's actually kind of it's more of a simple reasoning for that, and that is they all dehydrate you, and dehydration is pretty much the root of all disease, right? Your when you have arthritis, for example, when you have when you have arthritis, your bones are calcified and they're dehydrated, and they're salt is a big cause of that. But anyway, so dehydration is the root of all evil. All disease is the result of chronic dehydration, and when any substance that dehydrates you is a damaging, harmful substance to you, and that's what, in my eyes, makes it bad. Okay? Bad in this case is damaging and harmful. Okay? So in that sense, all substances, mind-altering substances, are harmful to you. Okay? So what you want to do is you want to do a cost-benefit analysis, an opportunity cost analysis. Now I'm taking you guys to economics class, right? You know, if you ever take an economic class, you've heard of opportunity cost analysis, right? So what you do is you say, well, these are the cons and these are the pros of doing this. Is it more beneficial for me? Is it worth the damage? Will the benefits exceed the damage being caused by using a certain substance or starting a certain business in economics? And then you do that analysis, and based on that analysis, you make your decisions. Because this is not a case of morality. This is not a case of it's bad or it's good in the sense of morality, in the sense of you're an evil person if you take drugs. It's not like that at all. Then I would be a devil in front of you speaking. Okay? And I did mention that I have an upcoming mushroom trip specifically, and probably San Pedro also. Seeing I'm in South America, right? So anyway, what I was saying, you're gonna do a cost-benefit analysis, and then you make your decisions. So I did a cost benefit analysis. I know that if I take mushrooms, I'm gonna be dehydrated, I'm gonna wake up the next day, I'm gonna be tired, I'm gonna be exhausted, I'm probably gonna go to sleep late that day because these things keep me up, right? But at the same time, I did the analysis and I said, no, I think I could benefit from this right now. It's been a while. I really feel like there's something I want to connect with here, some part of me that I want to remember. And if I do it, say, once in a blue moon, like this upcoming trip, I say, well, I think I'm going to get more benefit than damage. Plus, I will minimize the damage by, for instance, hydrating myself during the trip, by getting plenty of sleep for the next 2-3 days, right? By taking it easy, by resting, by meditating, all that. So I also do my best to minimize the risks, okay? Or not the risks, there's always risks with everything, the damage. Now, I had microdosed LSD for close to 3 years in a row, and I could tell you it caused chronic dehydration for me. It definitely damaged my nervous system. So now going back, if I was more wise, I would say it isn't worth it for me to microdose almost every day. I would take a little bit of breaks to reset the tolerance. I would say it's not worth it. I'm using it way too much. It's called acid. It's acidic, okay? Acids are corrosive, they're destructive, they're damaging. All right? So that particular case of using it, pretty much almost daily with breaks to reset the tolerance, I see that more damaging than beneficial, and it did become more damaging than beneficial. And I had to stop, and I'll never do that again. Same thing with using marijuana every day. I mean, you get that cotton mouth, right? Chronic dehydration. If you're using marijuana every day, chronic dehydration. So it makes me think that the fact that there is even a tolerance mechanism makes me think the body is trying to communicate and say, look, these things are to be used every now and then. And if you start to use them and abuse them, I will increase the tolerance so you don't feel it anymore. So of course, us being stubborn, addicted humans, we just try to increase the dose, and eventually that doesn't work anymore. Eventually you're just doing it out of habit. And you do it a little bit and it hits you just slightly because your tolerance is so high. So the tolerance mechanism, I feel, is saying to us, look, these things are to be used in moderation and to be used for deliberately, with intention, to learn something, to connect with something or someone, etc. And in the case of psychedelics particularly, I like Terence McKenna's style of doing them, infrequently and in large doses. And I feel that that's how these substances ought to be used, and I feel that tolerance mechanism is telling us something. Because there is always a price you're going to pay by using these substances. And for me, the price of dehydration is a giant, huge price to pay. Some of you guys say, well, I just drink water. No, you're stressing the hell out of your kidneys, man. You're stressing the hell out of your kidneys. Try to go on fruits for 2 weeks. You're going to be drinking way less water naturally because you're not going to be as thirsty. You're not taxing your kidneys. You're not taxing your organs. So no, if you think that solution of just drink more water, that's going to solve it, I'm going to continue to smoke weed every day. I'm going to do psychedelics every day. Even if you don't smoke weed, I don't recommend you smoke ever. You could eat it instead. But even that's going to dehydrate you, right? You do this every day, or like even once or twice a week. Oh man, you're throwing the whole nervous system out of whack. You're throwing your whole body, your biology out of whack. Dehydration, it's a terrible thing. Terrible thing. Anything, foods that dehydrate you, anything that dehydrates you is stealing life from you. What is life? Life is the 4 elements is what bring life. Water, fire, so that would be sun, air, and earth. And without water, there is no life on this planet. Period. Something that sucks water out of you, sucking life out of you. So use these things deliberately and intentionally. I'm just voicing my opinion here. Intentionally, deliberately, for a certain purpose, to connect, to this, to that, to take precautions, prepare well, and then minimize the damage by hydrating yourself, drinking more water, right? if you're doing that every day and you're like, I'm just gonna drink more water, first of all, like, that's not gonna work. If I was to eat an edible right now, I'd drink all the water in the world and I'd still feel dry and thirsty. Okay. Same thing with like mushrooms. Like, oof, you just get really thirsty when you do that. So anything that's making you thirsty is sucking life out of you. Period. But these mind-altering substances are useful, so then use them in an intentional, deliberate way. The sober state is a wonderful state, and I got a video coming up on how it's so disrespected and how people hate it so much because they're not doing life, they're not living life properly. They're not on that narrow path of wellness, health, well-being. All right, so folks, be responsible with your use, prepare well, minimize the damage, by doing the things to minimize them, get extra sleep, extra hydration, extra water, and for Zeus's sake, don't do these things often, okay? Coming from someone who's done them often and caused them chronic dehydration and, just the benefits, the damage exceeded the benefits at that point. And when something is chronically dehydrating you and you're developing an addiction to it, yeah, that's even psychological damage right there. The addiction part, the psychological addiction, dependency, okay? Thanks to our lovely Patreons for your support. Thanks to the people who give us one-time donations. If you're interested to join the Patreon, I have a link down below. Or if you just want to, donate, got, a couple of $1 million you want to donate, hey, bring them here. We can definitely appreciate that, and we'll make good use of it. All right, guys, I do video consultations 101. If you're interested to book a call, there's a link down below in the comments or description, and I'll see you guys in the next video.